Welcome to another edition of Mark's Inspiration. Glad you could join me today, as always. And today's topic is integrity. But first, smash that like button and subscribe. We've got a video coming out every day. Why did I choose integrity? Well, I'll tell you, it just popped into my head. I asked myself, or my higher self, or God, or divinity, or whatever you want to call it. Luis, doesn't matter. It's the same power that you have within you. It's the same power within me. We all have it. Excuse me. It's a question of whether you are using it or not. Or are you trying to run your life with this rational, logical mind? The 2 plus 2 equals 4 mind. If you're running your life with that mind, you will run it right into the ground, I'll guarantee you. And besides, it's a lot of work. Okay, but let's get to integrity. Why is integrity valuable? It's valuable to you. It doesn't help everyone else that you are integrous as much as it does you. It's actually for you. It's not for other people. Let's see what the definition of integrity is. The quality of being honest and having strong moral principles. Moral uprightness. Okay, he is known to be a man of integrity. Morals. Everyone has a moral compass. And sometimes what is accepted in one part of the world is considered heinous in another part of the world. The moral principles that I am talking about are the ones that you have within yourself, that you know. You know, most of us, unless you're psychotic or a psychopath, we know what's right or wrong, or what we determine to be right or wrong within ourselves. Now, if you have to justify something or rationalize or talk yourself into it or give yourself all the reasons why it's correct for you to do something or to say something, more than likely, it's not correct for you. It's not integrous. It's not being a man of integrity, or woman, if there are women watching this. Okay. Some of the words that align with integrity are honesty, uprightness, similar meanings. Probity. I don't know that word. Rectitude. Heard that one. Honor. Honorableness. All these words are similar to integrity. You could say he is an honest person. He is upright. He has honor. All these things are congruent with a man of integrity. The reason integrity is so important that if you build your life as a man of integrity, a man of honesty, uprightness, then you have a foundation stone that everything else rests upon. Because anything built that is not built upon integrity, honesty, uprightness is not built on a strong foundation. And when the storms of life come, as they always do, you will crumble emotionally, psychologically. If you really want to walk in power, whether that be power to have women, to have success, whatever that means to you, Earl Nightingale quotes success as the realization of a worthy goal or ideal. The progressive realization of a worthy goal or ideal. Okay, I think that's correct. Okay, so success does not mean getting to the goal or having the goal. It's the successive progression. It's moving in the direction. And I find that to be very true because I have reached many goals in my life. And there's a joy, and it's great, and it's exciting, but it soon fades. The joy, as they say, truly is in the journey. I always say that, but it is so important for you younger people to get that. If you think when you get that house, you get that job, when you reach that first million, or when you get that yacht, or that private jet, or the Lamborghini, or whatever it is you would like to have, if you think that that is the all in all, or that you're going to be it when you get there, or that's going to be it, You're mistaken. You're terribly mistaken, because that's not it. If you are not enjoying the journey, the destination will not be any more enjoyable. You have to enjoy the journey. And one of the only ways that you can enjoy the journey, you may see other people and think they're not integrous or they don't live a life of integrity, and they seem to be successful, but you don't live inside their head. Okay, you're judging their outsides, by you're judging their inside by what appears on the outside, but what appears to be. But you don't know what's going on inside their head. Just like some of the famous actors and prominent people around the world have committed suicide. And when you looked at their life, you thought, why would that person do that? They had everything. They were happy. They seemed to be happy. Robin Williams is a good example. He made everyone laugh, but he couldn't make himself laugh. And he felt the only way to relieve himself of the misery he was living in was to kill himself. Think about that. I mean, and there are many others. They want to escape from the pain of life. Many rock stars, musicians have did drugs, have done a lot of drugs and had to go into rehab. You don't do that amount of drugs unless you're not happy on the inside. I've done a lot of partying, so I understand. You're actually just trying to escape from what you are on the inside because you don't like what you are on the inside. I'm not talking about the occasional pot smoker or the person who drinks a few beers once in a while. I'm talking about somebody who's staying high every day, all day long, okay? Eventually, it will get to where it doesn't work anymore, and you have to face yourself, whatever that is inside of you. And that's being a person of integrity also, is to be honest enough with yourself to look within you and ask yourself, why do I have to get drunk every day? Why do I have to get high every day? A lot of times we'll say, oh, because I want to. Well, why do you want to? Why do you feel the need to do that? To navigate life, to be happy in life, or to be able to manage your emotions, or whatever reason you're doing it for. You'll probably say something like, well, I do it because it makes me feel good. Okay, I understand that. Granted, it makes you feel good. But why do you need that? Why do you need an outside substance to make you feel good? I know why I needed an outside substance to make me feel good when I was younger, because I had done things. First, I had grown up in a family where I didn't feel loved, and I never felt like I was enough. My problem, nobody else's, once I had come to the age of understanding. Okay, I had some shame about some things I did when I was a kid. I remember one time I was playing doctor with my cousins. I probably wasn't 4 years old. And my grandma caught me, and I admired my grandmother. And she says, oh, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Well, I was. And that bothered me for years. I remember later in my 20s, my cousins brought it up, and I still felt embarrassed about that. And I was just a kid. So that was some ridiculous shame I was carrying around with me, that I had to use alcohol and drugs to cover up, to push down so I could feel good. But if you get that crap out of you, there's ways to do that, and I'm creating a program for that. There's many programs out there. I don't have anything new, okay? I can just present it to you in a different way that maybe through me you can understand it better than you can Joe or Bill over here, or whoever you're listening to or learning from. That's it. Everybody has something to say in a way that some people can understand and some people cannot. Like books, I read many, many books I suggest you read. And in those books, they may say the same thing that someone else did in another book, but yet it clicks, or I understand because of the way this person said it. I love Wayne Dyer's books. He's passed on, but he has got some great books. I've read some of them over and over again. And when I read them a second time, depending on where I'm at in my life, I understand things in a different way. It's almost like I'm reading a different book. And you are actually, because you change. You're not the same person today that you were yesterday. And if you are, then you're stagnant. You need to be growing every day. There's no neutral, either grow or go. And back to integrity, when you are integrous, when you are a person with integrity, you feel good about yourself. Your words should be impeccable, especially your word to yourself. If you get up in the morning and you tell yourself you're going to do something, you need to do it. Granted, there are things that are going to happen maybe that hinder you or stop you from doing that. That's okay. I'm talking about if you don't do it just because you're lazy or I'll do it later. You're procrastinating. Procrastination is fear. Fear disguises itself in so many ways. And it's hard to be a person of integrity if you're walking around full of fears. Fear that people won't like you, fear that you won't get the job, fear that you're going to get fired. Fear, fear, fear. Fear stands in the way of everything you desire. But it isn't always so blatant. It isn't always so easily recognizable. And that's the deceitfulness of fear. But that is what will stop you. What is the difference between you and the people you admire and the people you want to be like? They faced their fears. Every day they got up and did the same thing over and over and over again. It wasn't one big, giant, grand thing that brought them to success. Overnight successes took years. They did something every day, or 2 or 3 things every day that moved them toward their goal. As I said, there is no excuse me. As I said, there is no neutral. You are either moving forward or backward. And the choice is always yours. But these foundation stones of integrity, honesty, uprightness, these things, when you get those characteristics within you and you get rid of this garbage inside of you, you feel like you deserve to have these things. And thus, you will take the action that these other people you admire have taken. But as where before, if you're not a person of integrity, you don't feel good about yourself, you're carrying shame, guilt, remorse, regret, fear around with you, you will not take the action. You will procrastinate. You will not move towards your goals because deep inside, subconsciously, you don't feel like you deserve it. On a conscious level, you may think, I deserve everything that guy's got. But inside, on a subconscious level, you don't feel like you deserve it. And that's why I said, like Louise Hay taught, she was a great woman. I love her books. I recommend you read her books. Do what she calls mirror work. Look in the mirror every day and tell yourself that you love yourself. And if you feel stupid or strange doing that, then you don't love yourself. Look at yourself and say you admire yourself. Tell yourself all the things you would tell a woman that you were just madly in love with, if you could say what you wanted to say without fear of her thinking you were weak or beta or whatever you opposite of alpha or whatever you want to call it. Whatever term you care to use. It's okay to tell a woman that she's beautiful. It's okay to tell a woman that you admire her. But the reality is you have to first admire yourself and love yourself and come from that frame if you want to say those things. And like all things, when you say those things, use them sparingly, except for yourself when you look in the mirror, especially if you're trying to convince yourself. When you first start saying these affirmations to yourself and telling yourself these things in the mirror, for example, if you don't think you're a person of integrity, look in the mirror and say, you are a man of integrity. Or if there's a woman watching this, you are a woman of integrity. Now, when you first say it, you may feel stupid, you may feel silly, ignorant, you feel like it's a lie, but I'll guarantee you, if you persist, sometimes a miracle is only persistence, your persistence, which brings this so-called miracle to come to pass. You do that every day, as many times a day as you look in the mirror, and I'll guarantee you, you will become a person of integrity. And from that foundation, everything else will grow, so to speak, from that. Okay? Because a person of integrity will clean out. He will introspect. He will look within himself whenever things in the outer world don't seem to be going his way. Whenever he approaches a girl and she rejects him. Now, you don't have to take that personally, but you will look within yourself and say, now what is she reflecting back to me that I believe about myself that I need to change within myself? Okay, because people in the outer world just reflect back to you what you believe you are. Do you really believe you're good enough to approach this girl? Do you really believe that she is the kind of girl that you want to go out with? It all comes back to your beliefs. And your beliefs are based on how you feel about yourself. You can create new beliefs if your old ones aren't working sufficiently. Okay? I hope this has been of help to you. I know if you use this information I give you, it will change your life. But you have to use it. I can't do your push-ups for you. I would like to. I would like to fix you. But I have to work hard on fixing myself. And if I fix me, then I have more of a chance of helping you. But you're not broken, and neither am I. You are exactly where you're supposed to be right now. You're perfect. As I always say, the rose. Is the rose only perfect when it's in full bloom? Or is it not perfect when it's a bud? Or when it's dying? It's perfect right where it's at. It's in the stage of becoming, and it's in the stage of not becoming. But it's perfect just as you are. Okay? Smash that like button, subscribe, share with a friend. Have a great day. Thanks for joining me.